Okay, so I'm sitting down with my friend here, Zach Scott, and this is video for Team Blender, and we're just gonna break down our final prototype and go over some with him some of the all of the features and benefits and the gist of our product thus far. So how you doing, Zach?
Pretty good.
So this is our current iteration of the prototype. So you can use some of the buttons that are on here, and you can just kind of on your own just go through, and I'll just describe some things as you go through it. So you can start off by clicking the sign in button. So this is the main page is a friend feed. The app is based off of kind of bringing a more social aspect to music listening, and it has several key features, including a map view, so you can kind of see where friends are, like they can broadcast where they're at,
if they're close to you or not,
and like the playlist that they're listening to. Some of the main components and benefits that we've come up with are the ability to share and collaborate playlists with all of your friends, and given how you want to set it up, you could if you click on the create button down here, it has the options to, like, of course, add the songs, but invite different people and apply different kind of like headers, like tags that you're going for the music types, as well as implement voting to get an idea of what everyone wants to listen to.
Yeah.
If you're making a playlist for a certain occasion, and also be able to set things like for the playlist to be private or public, or a main thing is allow everyone that you've invited to the playlist to be able to suggest songs.
Yeah. So I have to invite people to my playlist, or I can also choose it to just be public and anyone can add to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the point of it is to make it as free, like to do exactly how you want it. It's about
customizable.
Yeah, exactly. So we've tried to implement various things just so that you can maximize exactly what you want out of our product. So if you go back to the friend feed, I mentioned the map view. This is another main feature that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on, because it really adds that like unique wow factor to the social aspect, and it definitely is a more interactive piece to the social component. Another I'm just kind of running through all of the main details. So another thing is the queues, and that is like creating like a hotspot or something where everyone can like a more instantaneous thing rather than a like precursor.
Yeah.
Like rather than creating a playlist for in a week, some party that you're having and you're just hanging out with your friends now, you can create a queue, and anyone around you can ask to join the queue and be able to put like queue songs to just a running list off of the one person's phone that's plugged into like
as opposed
Bluetooth.
to just asking someone like, hey, can you play this song next? You can play it yourself.
Everyone has like the ability to kind of be one unit and kind of like playing the music that they want.
Sweet.
A main thing is the fact that everything's profile based, and that it's very comfortable to we kind of took aspects of various apps and systems that everyone is comfortable with.
Yeah.
So that you can pretty much just have a grasp right off the bat of how to operate in this new, like, it's very easy to jump right in. That's what we wanted to make it. And the fact that it's like everyone has an account, and we can link it up to your Facebook, so you have that initial like list of people that you can befriend and follow. It makes it very easy to jump right on board. It's really based off of like trying to be as simple as possible in terms of what you can do, but some of the main elements, like the music library, it's a little bit different feel, but it relatively feels similar to how you would operate whether you were using iTunes or Spotify. But a main feature that we feel is like trying to encapsulate all these cool ideas and features from different apps, including our own unique features, is being able to listen to every single music source in one centralized place. And that's what we have here with, you can see the icons. These indicate if you link up your accounts from like a Spotify and SoundCloud, you can access all of the music's libraries into one combined thing. Yep. And those kind of indicate where they're actually available. So like the house is like your local files, but it makes it so that you have all these cool things, and I have so much depth in each of those libraries, but it's like, how do I we wanted to make something that is like very simple, that we're not supplying the music, we're just getting the most out of every other application that's out there. So we've gone through that. If you click on a playlist here, this is kind of the viewing someone's playlist, and from there you could favorite it. But as I mentioned earlier, being able to collaborate and get an idea of what people want to listen to is useful in a lot of different areas, whether you're just you and your friends, but we also feel like it can apply to on a more on a separate level to like being able to be used by companies, like a restaurant, being able to use it as their jukebox system. I feel like there's a lot of crossover, and even like a DJ preparing for like doing a set for someone's like wedding or something, everyone can kind of just like get their preferences out there, which is something that with so many different types of music styles nowadays, it's like very hard to kind of consolidate everyone's preferences into one thing rather than just requesting.
Can I vote on individual songs?
Yeah. So,
alright, cool.
So this is the voting feature. I was just getting to that. You can vote just kind of, this is like, there's two different styles, depending on how you like it. But this is kind of like the list style, kind of like Reddit. If for those that know it, it's just simple, just up and down arrows. But then there's the just kind of casual. This is similar to like a Tinder or just slide features that a lot of newer apps are doing, where if you slide it, you can just like it, or you can click the buttons here and there. And then from there you can also go on to suggestions, and that would take you to the music library, where you'd be able to just throw songs into a list. So that's pretty much the basis of everything, from the queue to the map feature, the voting, and the ins and outs of the playlist. But right now we're preparing for the next stage, where we've gotten a lot of feedback on what we have so far, and obviously this is a prototype, so it's not a real product as of right now, but we're looking forward to future development and kind of getting a beta test level to get feedback on the actual ins and outs of how the app operates. What do you think?
I mean, it's pretty sweet. I particularly like having all of your libraries that you already pay money to, like your Spotify subscription or your Apple Music subscription, all being together. Because it's so frustrating when you have a song on Apple Music, but actually you're just playing Spotify now, you can't listen to it. Whereas I would just play on this every time. I wouldn't go on those other apps. I'd still pay for them, but I'd be able to have this where I can just play whatever song I want. Probably like the most expansive library. I like that.
Now, being that the system doesn't really involve streaming music, it's more of additional features and maximizing like the features that you could have when listening to music, kind of like more about the listening experience rather than the actual music, because it's taking them from those libraries.
Yeah.
What would you say would be a price that you would think on like a monthly basis or a regular thing that would be you'd be comfortable paying to get this cool ability on top of you already paying for a music streaming service that you'd be using obviously with it?
I mean, probably like $5 to $10 a month. I wouldn't want to go any further than that, just because you're already paying to have the music.
Yeah.
And this is just like an additional feature for it. Honestly, I'd probably be like looking into trying to contact Apple Music or Spotify that with your Apple Music subscription or your Spotify subscription, you can get access to this also for like maybe just adding to your monthly rate there. But yeah, I'd say like $5 would probably be like the max that I would pay, 5 to 10.
Okay. And do you think if there was a free version of it that was limited in terms of the amount that you could do, whether it was the amount of songs you could have on a playlist or friends that you could invite to something, that you would be very interested in using it and be tempted to even pay for a premium, given that you have a base level access to some of the features? Maybe if it's not like getting the most out of it, but like
definitely, even just like there's just certain like individual aspects of it, just like knowing, like even just the voting would be something that I would definitely want to have like on like a free version, even if it was just an app where it just allowed me to create a playlist and then other people got to vote on it, just so I could see like what other people like, what kind of music other people like, without it actually involving being able to like create playlists on my own. I'd definitely use that app if it was free, but I would also want to be like, all right, well now I want to create more playlists as opposed to just like downloading in like my Spotify playlist that I've already made. So that'd probably be something that I would want to pay for in the future to like get the premium version.
Just one last thing before we wrap up. In terms of your music listening habits, do you use multiple sources at times, given the types of music that you're listening to? Like a common case is SoundCloud is used kind of like it has a lot of those like remixes and things that aren't mainstream in terms of they're not making money as artists, they're just making the music, and then the core of their music that you like, a lot of people would use a main service like Spotify or Apple Music. Yeah. Do you have like tendencies to use multiple sources?
Yeah, I mean, I have an Apple Music account, a Spotify account, and I also have SoundCloud, and it's exactly like you say in that there's a lot of songs on SoundCloud particularly that are not on Apple Music or on Spotify, and there's a lot of Spotify I would say has the least expansive of all the libraries. And then SoundCloud a little bit to that extent, like you're not going to listen to your like mainstream stuff on SoundCloud. It'll usually be like a bad version of that song. And then Apple Music kind of like puts a little bit of the two together, but I would say that Apple Music doesn't really have like the, I don't want to say underground, but just like the less popular stuff. And they're also usually late to the game in adding something. Whereas SoundCloud, that's probably the first time, like the best access that you can get to a song as early as you want. It'll be on SoundCloud, but the quality just won't be quite as good. So that's why you want to have like Apple Music or Spotify.
All right. Well, thank you so much for helping me out.
Of course.
And I'll keep you in touch with where we wind up with this product from Blender.
Give me the final version.
All right. Thanks.
All right.